Normally I do trainings in universities and colleges and medical symposiums and a lot of different things for doctors and healthcare practitioners. Occasionally I get to do one for folks like us, the general person that's using the products or people that are selling the products. And so when I do trainings, my trainings generally speaking last from about 2 days to about 8 days. And I'm going to try and get 8 days worth of information into about an hour. So we may gloss over some of the stuff, but that doesn't mean that you're not getting some important stuff. We're going to share with you some really exciting things that we're doing with the Cellfood product lines around the world and here in the domestic marketplace. So the best place to start, I guess, is talking about specifically Cellfood. Cellfood today is the #1 selling oxygen-based supplement in the world. The first uses of Cellfood were in the 1940s. Cellfood was used by the U.S. military to make potable water in the fields. When I get to speak to everybody, people ask, well, what is this Cellfood? Is it a drug? Is it legal for professional amateur athletes? Is it some kind of a blood doping product? Exactly what is it? And probably the most important question, and this is something that I ask all of you to ask anybody that provides any type of a nutritional supplement to you, is the product safe? Now here in our domestic marketplace, there isn't any legislation that requires safety studies for nutritional supplements. We are not categorized as pharmaceutical drugs are. We are in a food supplement or nutritional supplement category. So I implore you to please ask before you put something into your body, is the product safe? It doesn't matter if it works or not, I don't care, but is it going to do any damage? So we're going to answer some of the most common questions to begin with. Is Cellfood a drug? Today, Cellfood in the domestic marketplace is categorized, as I said, as a nutritional supplement. It is not a pharmaceutical drug. Now that's not necessarily true in all of the countries, specifically in South Africa. South Africa is an area that we have Cellfood approved as a drug or a conditional drug. It's been assigned a NAPI code, and there's a reason that we did this. Cellfood is approved as a drug in South Africa because they use a socialized medicine program. Socialized medicine programs helps to augment or defray the costs of the product to the end user, so it makes it more affordable. So that's what's happened in South Africa. Is Cellfood a type of blood doping product? Cellfood does not have any single ingredient that is on the list of banned substances for international athletic competitions. So Cellfood is not considered any type of a doping product and is completely legal for any type of competition. Okay, the most important question, is the product safe? In this particular study that you're looking at, this LD50 study took 5,000 milligrams of Cellfood per kilogram of body weight for each of the test subjects. For somebody that's 150 pounds, that's the equivalent of 40 bottles of Cellfood without dilution in one serving. It's a lot, and it's expensive. It would cost quite a bit of money. As you can see, though, that there's no toxicity, no adverse results. Cellfood is completely non-toxic, even when taken in these gross amounts. You can be completely sure and safe that you're getting a high-quality, high-performance product that is completely safe and completely non-toxic. Okay, so what is Cellfood? Has everybody here tried Cellfood? Oh yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Does everybody here like Cellfood? Good night. I'm done. There are 4 basic points to Cellfood. Cellfood is the world's premier oxygen product, amino acid, mineral, and enzyme product. Those are the 4 categories that we break Cellfood down into. And I'm going to somewhat gloss over some of them, but the one I'm going to spend the most time on is the oxygen part, because this is where we kind of hang our hat. So is Cellfood the only way to get oxygen? Well, no. You can breathe, that's one of the ways, and we can get a certain amount of oxygen that way. And there are 4 other basic types of ways to supplement the amount of bioavailable oxygen in the bloodstream. The first one is bottled oxygen. We've all seen that, right? It's a tank of oxygen, a little mask they put over your mouth, put the thing behind your head, and you walk, well, I wouldn't walk around with it, but that's what they use in the hospitals. It's very, very common. It's not very practical for putting it in your car and driving down the street with oxygen. The second one is ozone therapy. This is becoming more common now. It has to be administered by somebody who has a license. It has to be a healthcare practitioner to use ozone therapy. There are some downsides of it. The way that you actually inject ozone into your body is through this probe that is inserted somewhere back here. I pass, you know. There are easier ways to get oxygen, in my opinion. The third way is hydrogen peroxide, and this is kind of an interesting situation because as Cellfood has grown to become the huge juggernaut in the oxygen industry that we've been, there are a lot of imitation products now that you've probably seen in your lifetime. A lot of these products are based on a technology called hydrogen peroxide, which actually does increase the amount of oxygen in the bloodstream. However, it's a different type of oxygen. It is a free radical type of oxygen, and we're going to cover that in just a second. So that is one of the ways that you can increase the amount of oxygen through hydrogen peroxide. And the last one is called hyperbaric chambers. And this is very, very common and made even more known by Michael Jackson, the singer who sleeps in one of these things. It's a bed that looks like a coffin made out of glass, and it's a hyperbaric chamber where they pressurize this bed. They're about 30 grand, and I don't want to have anything to do with Michael Jackson, so I pass on that one as well. Okay, so let's talk about this Cellfood creating oxygen. The actual bottle of Cellfood actually has very little oxygen in it. In fact, almost none. It has small amounts of dissolved oxygen because of the reverse osmosis deionized water that's in the product, but it actually has very little oxygen in the product. Cellfood has the ability to generate nascent oxygen at the cellular level while at the same time eliminating free radicals. These are these highly reactive metabolites that your own organism actually generates. This is something that happens as a part of metabolism. And your body has natural ways to deal with free radicals, but when you have excess free radicals, you have oxidative stress and cellular biological damage. So what you're looking at here is human plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and a bed of plasma. And you're looking at a water molecule that's inside every one of our bodies. All of us have this. You've heard that your body is 97% water. Well, this is part of it here. This is the actual water molecule. 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, H2O. You'll notice, though, that the hydrogen has a positively charged ion, and the oxygen is a negatively charged oxygen singlet. When you begin to take Cellfood, 8 drops in 8 ounces of water 3 times a day, this is what happens. The 2 hydrogen ions are now floating, and the negatively charged oxygen singlet is floating in the bloodstream. This is separating the water molecule. What you see here down below is a positively charged oxygen singlet. Does anybody know what a positively charged oxygen singlet is? Free radical, absolutely. This is a dangerous free radical. It's looking to be neutralized, otherwise it will cause cellular damage. You have millions of these in your body right now as you're sitting in here. So what happens is the negatively charged oxygen singlet, created from Cellfood, now looks for its polar opposite, because the polar opposites attract and they bond. And this is what happens. You now have bioavailable oxygen, O2, at the cellular level, and you've eliminated the free radical. 2 actions in 1 singular move. This is Cellfood. We're going to get into a little more detail. How much oxygen does Cellfood create? Well, it depends on the biological oxygen demand of each one of our bodies. Everybody is created differently. Everybody's metabolism is different, and Cellfood therefore reacts differently in every single human body. I may have a lower biological oxygen demand for oxygen than somebody else may have. So Cellfood reacts differently in everybody. On average, we have about a 58% increase in bioavailable oxygen after a 1-hour period through clinical studies, both clinical, analytical, and in vitro and in vivo studies. So a 58% increase. However, I will say that we've done studies where we've seen up to a 300% increase in bioavailable oxygen in people that have a serious biological oxygen demand. This BOD is what determines basically your entire metabolism and that demand that's created for oxygen. So that's basically the biggest part of Cellfood, is creating that bioavailable oxygen. The second part of the program is trace minerals. This is the second part of the 4 specific things, and I'm going to kind of gloss through the trace mineral enzymes and amino acids. But trace minerals, basically, your body can't make them. You have to consume them through the foods that you eat, through the water that you drink. Your body is not able to generate minerals. So when you take a look at what we talk about a periodic element chart, this is all of the elements known to mankind in the universe, 104 different elements, or 109 if you went to MIT. They created their own. I don't know what they're up to, but these are all the elements that are known where I went to school. These are all the elements known to mankind. These are the elements that are in Cellfood. Almost all of them, right? 78 different